Thank you, Jessica. I met Jessica a few years ago now, and wonderful young lady. Anyone that carries 2 or 3 mobiles has to be impressive. So that kind of gave me the enthusiasm to support this particular book. I went into this and I phoned a couple of the other authors that were participating, and we all agreed. We said, well, okay, let's give it a run. And here we are with the book. Fantastic effort. Well done. So I'm going to talk to you today, or tonight, very quickly about occupancy. And occupancy is a very interesting thing. If I take this mobile phone and that's sitting on the shelf and you don't sell it today, that phone is still there tomorrow. You all agree with that? However, a hotel room night is not, and an apartment room night is not. It's a perishable item. If you don't sell that tonight, then it's gone. Forget it. So I know a lot of you in the room are permanent rental situations, but some of you have a mixture of permanent and holiday. The very, very, very important point I want to leave with you tonight, and I'll touch on it right at the end, is that exact point. Your hotel room night or your apartment room night is absolutely perishable. You don't sell it tonight, forget it. It's gone. It's like a relationship with a body corporate. You're not on side with a body corporate, forget it. Your business is in real trouble. So, what's the secret of occupancy? Well, secret number 1 is you have to have the attitude to build occupancy. You've got to be committed to the fact. A lot of us in this room are managers. If you don't take the attitude that you're working Sunday to the next Sunday, 24/7, virtually 50 weeks, 52 weeks of the year, then once again, you're in trouble because the industry demands that. None of us can come into this industry and not work those sorts of hours. Unfortunately, that's what the industry is. And the sooner we all appreciate and learn that, the better the industry will be. When you buy into this industry, that's what you buy. Don't ever forget it. And occupancy is the same. And you have to train your team to upsell in all situations. Now, when I talk about upsell is a very, very simple thing. Back in the 90s, when I got into the industry, and my wife will attest to this, you did bookings 3 and 4 and 6 months out. So you were doing quotes Monday to Friday. Sunday mornings, when you sat at reception and wondered what you were doing, you'd get on the phone and ring all those people back and follow them up. Well, the industry's changed. Occupancy today is driven by your ability to operate with channel managers of all sorts. So you have to be consistently at that. You have to put the product out there and you have to be watching what your competitors are doing. So the other big secret of occupancy is you have to have a program, a loyalty program, that appreciates and understands your guest, who they are, where they come from, and how you're going to treat them when they come back. The easiest way, the absolute easiest way to build occupancy is to work on the guest when they're in-house. Guest arrives, it's no good looking at them when they're at reception and going, oh God, here's another guest. You've got to jump up, you've got to greet them, welcome them, and you've got to make them feel as though this is the most important day of their life. Because in a lot of cases, some of the people that come to your building have worked long and hard to afford a holiday. So it's incumbent on you as a manager to make sure those people are made welcome and to make sure they feel as though that's the most important reward for them for having taken the time to book your building. They're booking it off a website in a lot of cases. Then they don't really maybe know where they're going. They've had a flight that's been delayed. taxi that's cost them $50 to get from the airport, their wives are overpacked, kids are cranky, you know the whole story. So when they lob at your reception, you know, treat them as though they're the most important person in the world, and forget them. You'll lose them. And that's the person you want to get. So user experience is a very, very important thing. OTAs, general managers, don't we love them? Well, like it or not, you're stuck with them. But you need to embrace that. I'm very, very lucky we have a business in Brisbane. We do 30-odd thousand room nights a year. 60% of that, 18-odd thousand of those room nights comes from OTAs, online travel agents, Booking.com, Expedias, and the like. How do we do that? We do that because we embrace them. We've made the decision that that's where our business in the main comes from. Now, it's a never-ending argument, of course, whose client is that after that? Well, my opinion is simply that once the guest walks through those doors, it's ours, but it's up to us to keep that too. So if we have a guest come through the door and we don't do the right thing by the guest, and then the guest turns around and books Booking.com or Expedia or something the next time and goes to another hotel in Brisbane, then that's our fault. Sorry. You know, I won't cop it from our guys that we not have a repeat clientele of somewhere in that 40 to 50% range, because we've got all the tools to do it. We've got the guest. 9 times out of 10, the guest is booking online. But who's got the guest eyeball to eyeball? We have. And those of us that have been in the industry quite a while will attest to the fact that you're standing at reception, we've all done that, and you're tired, you're cranky, body corporate's crook on you, you've got to write a report for this, there's a busted washing machine, there's this, there's that. Yet when that guest lobs there at reception, get up off your butt, smile, no matter how much it takes, grin, welcome the guest, because that's what it's all about. It's a bum on a bed, don't forget it. It's like owners. How many times you guys heard me say, PBOs, poor bloody owners, a vote is a vote, a guest is a guest. So OTAs, absolutely vital to your business. And I apologise to Hiram and to Graham and the others in the room. I had my Enigma Lewis double check my spelling and he changed channel manager to SiteMinder. Sorry about that, Sylvia.
We have to help them where
We
we can.
do.
I'll talk to Lewis about it.
I just want to touch quickly on occupancy versus revenue. This day, back in the old days, when people bought an apartment or bought a unit, they bought it for a lifestyle. Return on investment wasn't that important because they could come to the Gold Coast or they could go to Brisbane and they could have an experience. And as long as you covered their body corporate levies and their rates, they were reasonably happy. But times have changed. Business is business now, and everybody wants a return on investment. So whilst you need to get somebody occupancy, you also need to be vitally aware of revenue. Because if you don't get the revenue for the owner, then the owner won't do one very, very important thing, and that's agree to refurbish. And all of us are under pressure now with ageing buildings, competing destinations, that if we don't present the very, very best product we can, then we're going to fall behind. And that's evidenced with the older buildings, the bigger apartments that are now under pressure. People will move in, that sort of thing. So you have this continual pull all the time as a building manager. Yes, you want occupancy, but you need to understand that revenue is a vital factor. Now, in our property in Brisbane, Riverside, we've finished years on 90% occupancy. However, we did that with sacrifice of rate, ADR, average daily rate. So our attitude now is very, very, very clear. We have a general manager and a team that adopt a KPI that we must achieve an 80% occupancy, but we must achieve an average daily rate of X dollars. And when you extrapolate that out, algorithms, whatever you want to call it, that gives enough money left over for an owner to be able to do what we want them to do, which is refurbish. How many times do you as a building manager have to go to an owner and get something done, like a new lounge or new carpet or paint or new bathrooms, etc., and the owner says to you, well, I'm not getting a return. What's the point of doing it? So smart managers, and that's hopefully what we all become, will realise that, and will sit down with their owners, and they'll work on this program that solves both those problems. And if you do it right, work with your OTAs, work with the guests when they come in, you'll find that in time, doesn't happen overnight, you can't get out of bed today, today's Friday, you can't get out of bed and say, well, Monday I'm going to start the refurb program. It doesn't work that way, you've got to plan it. It's like anything in business, you've got to think about it, you've got to plan it. It's like getting a top up, you've got to plan it a year ahead, year ahead, year ahead, same thing. So revenue management, plan ahead. And once again, the vital point I want to make to you tonight, regardless of everything, regardless of treating your guests the right way, which is vital, regardless of giving your owner a return on their investment, don't ever forget, you don't sell that room night tonight, it's gone. You're never going to get that room night again to sell. And that is what you have to sell. It's like I say to managers, what's your job? Your job is your caretaking agreement. That's what you bought. You didn't buy anything else. You didn't buy any other right. You didn't buy anything else. You bought that caretaking agreement. You protect that. That's your asset. Same as a room night. That's what you got to sell. Please don't ever forget it. And the final thing, bonus number 6, remember, the road to success is always under construction. And with that, I have the absolute pleasure in introducing our next speaker. She's just flown in from the North Pole on her broomstick. I was wondering whether I would say that tonight. I actually spoke to Sylvia and I got the green light to say, or the red light I should say, to say it. So I won't call her what she said I should call her, but everybody knows Sylvia, so welcome very much to the stage.